Come here. The Prodigal. My son returns.
What are your emotions heading into Tuesday's game?
Ready to play? Something going on?
If they want an issue, it is what it is. It's always been that. Ready for any attack.
I cannot wait until he's in uniform to play here.
Is there any chance in your mind that maybe enough time has passed that it won't be so bad? It'll be
In Philly? Come on now. I know what's coming.
Welcome to NBA Today. I just love that look. I'm Malika Andrews. I feel like Steve Harvey saying, we've got a good one for you today, folks. Ben Simmons, he is back in Philadelphia. It's been 520 days since he played a game at Wells Fargo Center. And yes, that was the infamous Game 7 against the Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals. But tonight, Simmons will take the floor in Philly again in what will certainly be one of the most memorable scenes of the year. And this morning, Ben Simmons spoke to reporters at Shoot-Around.
So excited to play. I'm so excited to play. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. You know, this is going to be an opportunity for me. You know, I've never been in this situation, so, you know, I got to appreciate it and really take it all in. We shared a lot of moments here, a lot of ups and downs. You know, this is where I was, you know, I became a man, I feel like. So, you know, I've always, you know, had a lot of respect for Philly in that way and the fan base. You know, it's a special fan base. But I got a lot of love for Philly.
Is it anticlimactic then for you not to be playing against Joel or Tyrese or James or any of those guys?
I mean, the fans will make up for it.
All right, let's digest all of that. Richard Jefferson, Janae Agumake, Vince Carter, Zach Lowe joining us. Richard, there's so many layers to this return for Ben Simmons in Philadelphia. But on the court, what are your expectations here?
Well, hopefully he can continue building off of what he's done the last couple of days. That's what's been so exciting. And we've talked so much. And, yes, there was so much attention on him, the way he finished the one season, didn't play last year. But within those two things, there was a year of basketball miss and a back surgery. People are like, oh, his back is hurting. He had back surgery. Like, you don't go under the knife unless you have to. Every athlete will tell you that. So the fact that it's taken him, you know, a couple of weeks, a couple of months to kind of get into this rhythm, that shouldn't be surprising. He's got to feel the strength. He's got to feel the endurance. And so I'm glad to see him making progressions, and I just hope people continue to be patient because I don't know if he'll be as consistent as they would like.
Zach, for you have been one who has said, I'm not going to get pulled back in. I'm not going to get sucked back into what the Nets are preaching. And yet, over the last couple of games, we've started to see what the full complement of the Brooklyn Nets could possibly look like. Are you back in?
No, I'm not going to be back in for a while. Okay. But look, to your point, this is the team. Let's see the team. Ben Simmons has had a great last 3 games. Kyrie's back. Joe Harris is starting to look like Joe Harris again. Seth Curry's starting to look like Seth Curry again. This is the team. No more nonsense. No more complaining. No more absences. No more anything. If you look at the Nets' schedule, their next 15 games, with the exception of a game against Boston, who's obviously a juggernaut, are all against teams that are either their peers, teams that they probably think they should beat at full strength, or bottom feeders. So come out in the next 20 games, play without any nonsense, without any absences, and show us over 20 games, not one game, not 1 week, the next 15 or 20 games, that you are ready to be the team we've heard so much talk about for 4 years. Now is the time. Everything's in place. Maybe tonight for Ben Simmons becomes a turning point that we look back on.
So it all starts tonight. Just to be very clear, Zach, your expectations for Ben Simmons tonight are?
To play pretty well. I mean, look, it's going to be a tough environment. I have no idea what that feels like. I have no idea what he's been dealing with for the last year and a half. I'm not expecting him to come out and score 30 or 25, but just play like he has the last 3 games. Go to the rim when you should. Right. Get fouled when you should. Spray the passes out when you should. You do that, the rest will take care of itself. Dribble handoff to Kyrie and KD. You do that stuff, everything's fine.
So you've hit on it now. Richard's hit on it, what he's been able to do these last 3 games. Shanae, what exactly is that he can carry into tonight's game specifically?
Should I just show you?
Yes,
because one of my favorite toys right here is the telestration. And one thing we know about Ben Simmons is averaging 16 points and 9 rebounds over the last 3 games. But that's not the the most impressive aspects. I'll tell you more on that in just a second. But let's start with how he really flipped the switch and has gone back to attack mode. Look at this stark difference. Richard, you know numbers from Arizona. What is this?
That's 85%.
He is shooting 85% from the field over these last 3 games. 16 and 9 is cute, but that's the real story right here. Over the, his percentage from the field has been his best so far. And those layups that he was missing, now he's making them. And I'll show you exactly how he's making them because he's flipped the switch. So as we go right here, this was before. This was a month ago, all right?
That's a carry.
Ben Simmons, first of all, calm down, Richard. Ben Simmons, he's a slasher. He's going to always look for space, right? Even here, if you see right here, he's ambidextrous. He should be able to use his right hand to attack the rim. You'll even see Steven Adams shade out because he's worried about 3 seconds. But instead, this is a month ago. He's not even looking at the rim. He's dancing around, and what does that lead to? That leads to a turnover. Uh-oh. All right, let's go back to Sunday because, again, I said he has completely flipped the switch. What I like about this possession right here, as it slowly goes, is that he's flipped it completely with his mindset. If you see him and his vision, he knows he wants to go down court, downhill. You'll even see him gesture really quick, like, hey, give me a screen, give me a screen. Nope, turn on the jets. Again, Steven Adams again, initiate contact. My favorite saying, and one, son. And one, son. All right, what did we see before? This was probably the most controversial play that we saw that was like, Ben, we need you to be aggressive. If you see right here, Ben, he's ahead of the pack. How many of his teammates are behind him? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a fast break. Kai calls for the ball. He pushes it, and he does his job. He draws 2. Ben normally should be able to take this dish and go straight to the rim. But instead, as the play progresses, we all saw this because what happened, y'all? He kicked it out. And what was the response that we saw right here? He was like, bro, shoot the layup.
Yeah, but he had KD wide open. I'm picking
what?
that. That's what Draymond picks.
KD did bail him out. But now let's go to just a few days ago or just yesterday. And you look and you see how he's really changed his game. Here you're going to see a screen and a rescreen. Here's a rescreen. And again, I said, this guy, he should be looking for slashes to the rim. Where's that space? You see that space right here. He's got that foot back. Like track, you've got that track mode where you push the foot back so that you can attack straight to the rim, and he does just that. And again, I said ambidextrous, strong with the right hand, finishes nice off the glass. You see the juxtaposition between him looking, him being aggressive, and him being passive. This is going to be the confidence piece that really helps Ben Simmons, especially when he's coming back to Philly, because y'all know they're going to make some noise over there.
It's going to be interesting isn't even the right word. I find myself hopeful, rooting for Ben tonight because it's going to be a challenging environment to play in. And Ramona Shelburne has a really great piece on ESPN.com right now that has a quote from Ben Simmons saying, there's only so much you can say unless you've actually been in that situation. But guess what? We've had someone who's been pretty close to in that situation, and that's Vince Carter when he returned to Toronto. So, Vince, what is your take on what this atmosphere will be like and how Ben Simmons could or should handle it?
I tell you this, first and foremost, I'll say I think he'd rather play in the game than actually sitting on the bench because you're an easy target when you're sitting on the bench. You're not moving up and down the court. Yes, you hear it, but when you're engaged in the game, guarding your man, you try to block out the noise as opposed to just sitting there. How you block out the noise when you sit on the bench? So I think first and foremost, I think he's excited to play, but you go out there and play your game, and this is easier said than done, and you don't want to try to hit the home run. And he's a different scorer than what I was, as far as, shooting the ball, because that first shot, when you step on the floor, is the one. That's the worst one. I remember shooting my first shot, and my goal was not to hit the flag on the other side of the basket just because of excitement and just, ready to go out there and just show that I'm capable and, want to win this game, the boos, the whole nine. I mean, it's just so much. So much energy in the building. And I tell you, when I walked on the floor, just hearing the boos, for me, that amped me up. So, for him, I think he's going to feel the same way. And he's going, you want to play well to prove them wrong.
We were chatting a little bit before the show, Vince, and you said that initially getting those butterflies to settle, it didn't just come automatically. Yes, you had a very good game that game. But the first quarter, what happened?
So, getting those butterflies out of the way, like I said, I wanted to win the game in the first quarter. I tried to make every shot, and it was more laser instead of just shooting the ball. So, rough first quarter, and I played better in the second quarter. And it was great to have your team behind you and supporting you. But I had a little birdie on my shoulder who was a teammate, and he got in my ear, and he said, "What, Richard Jefferson?
You know, I don't know if we could save that for the ear, but it was, I basically said we had your back. We had your back, and that's what your teammates need to do in this moment. And when the I have your back is not like it's more from a space of you go play your game, we'll fill in the blanks. Like we know Vince is a scorer. Ben Simmons is a different player, like Vince said. So he's going to create for other people. That's where his teammates have to have his back. For me personally, watching Vince go through that, and then later that year we played against Toronto in the postseason, and I stand by that. Playing against, when we got them in the postseason, that was far more intense than the regular season game. Now, I know all the time with Ben Simmons, but watching Vince have to navigate that in the postseason where teams were getting, where the crowd was getting ready to see him for multiple days, that was even more intense for the situation. But I think Ben is going to be fine.
But, like, flying under the radar here, Vince, are you telling us that Richard Jefferson was a good teammate?
No.
How do we replicate that?
He was.
Then what happened,
He
Richard?
was a great teammate, and it's tough because it's something I needed to hear because I was just so locked in on trying to win. I was so locked in on trying to win, and I had a better second half because the game started to slow down. I said, you know what? It's just a game. It's not just a game, but you kind of have to play mind games with yourself, as you know. Second game, and then we got to this situation right here. You know, Jay Kidd told us, he said, I'm going to get the ball off, and I'm dribbling it down, and you shoot it. I was like, all right, cool. And I remember telling Lawrence Frank, I'm going for 3, period. That's it. I'm going for the win, and there it is. And I remember seeing that shot go in, and that was the reaction. I was locked in. I was just locked there. And I just remember seeing Jay Kidd. I was like, whatever he does, it's go whatever. And it was just a great moment, and it's a great feeling. So for Ben Simmons, he just has to be aggressive. I think him being aggressive opens things up for him, and that's how we can decipher him having a great game.
And that's a step that he has taken recently, as you saw in my breakdown. But one thing I heard actually from Scottie Pippen when he was here at ESPN, he said, if they boo, it shows they care. And so you have to really know that this motivation is going to help you for the long term. So it is a big step that he's going to play. I just wish Joel was there.
Sure. Wish Joel was there. Tyrese Maxey was there. The whole complement of players. So if they boo, they care. That means Philly really is going to care tonight. We're going to have more on Ben Simmons returning to Philly still to come here on NBA Today. All right.
Stephen A., what's in store for Simmons?
It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad.
How do you think he handled that just now?
I thought he handled that fantastic.
So did I.
And I think that as long as he continues to have that kind of attitude about it, especially if he goes out on the court tonight and performs the way he's performed over the last 3 games, I think it's going to go a long way towards propelling his resurrection to some degree, resurrection to being an all-star caliber player. I don't see that as of yet. We're way off on that. I get that. But I'm not rooting against the brother. I'm rooting for him because clearly he had some issues. It's undeniable. When I saw the way he's played the first 9 games of this season, it's clearly a head issue with this dude. He got a lot going on. And I don't wish that on anybody. So I'm rooting for him. But I will tell you, it's going to be bad tonight. And by the way, I don't want to hear no negativity about Philadelphia. Because as much as I'm rooting for Ben Simmons, the bottom line is whatever they give him tonight, of course, excluding violence, whatever they give him, whatever level of vitriol and venom they throw in his direction, he deserves it from them, only them. But definitely from them. So I don't want to hear anything about the city of Philadelphia when they get maligned for ridiculing him tomorrow. I'm not going to be one that's doing that as long as they don't do nothing stupid.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports here. And it is that day. Had this day marked on my calendar for a while, and it's finally here. Tonight marks the return of Ben Simmons playing, not just sitting on the bench, playing in Philadelphia. There is no Embiid, there is no Maxey, there is no James Harden. There is Kevin Durant on the other side. There is Kyrie Irving, and of course there is Ben Simmons. Now, can Ben Simmons overcome his struggles mentally and play a fairly good game in Philadelphia? I don't know. I have no idea about this one because the fans in Philly are going to eat him alive. I am telling you now, Stephen A. said it's going to be bad. You know, I don't need Stephen A. Smith on TV to tell me that, hey, it's going to be bad for Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? It's going to be bad for Ben Simmons regardless, because this is Philadelphia, right? What he did to Philadelphia in their eyes is bad. I think it's even worse than LeBron James returning to Cleveland. Obviously, it's a lot worse than Kevin Durant returning to OKC. You know, this is Philadelphia. This is hard-nosed city, blue-collar. You know, they will let you know that it's going to be bad. They will let you know that if you suck, you suck, right? This is Philadelphia. And I just think it's going to be really, really bad for Ben Simmons. I don't know if he's I don't even know if he's going to attempt a shot. I don't even know if he's going to score a point. I have no idea what's going to happen. Let's just put it this way. Every single time he touches the ball, they are going to boo the hell out of Ben Simmons. And, you know, Ben Simmons has been playing fairly well in the last couple of games. And mentally, I think it's a very good thing for him to overcome his mental health struggles. Obviously, you don't want that to happen with anyone, right? But I just don't think he's going to overcome that tonight. He knows what's coming. He actually smiled in the press conference. He actually said, oh, yeah, you know, I got friends in Philadelphia. I appreciate the fans in Philadelphia, yada, yada, yada. I remember a couple months ago, somebody asked him about Philadelphia. He goes, Philadelphia fans are always teed off about something. He goes, even if you're walking your dog and you post it, somebody's obviously going to say, hey man, you should be working out or something like that. And he was obviously mad about that. So he's taken offense to Philly fans. And, you know, I think today at shoot around, they asked him if Embiid's going to be there and is there going to be a lovely welcome for him. And he just smiled, basically saying, no, there's not, because, you know, there's obviously bad blood between those guys, and you're not going to see that tonight because Embiid's not playing. But, you know, it's going to be one hell of a matchup. I'll tell you that much. It is going to be a bloodbath for Ben Simmons, because Philly fans are not going to let him off the hook. I'll tell you, like, it's going to be unreal. Make sure you tune in tonight. PVR, record it, or whatever the hell you got to do. It's going to be insane. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you guys' thoughts are on Ben Simmons returning to Philadelphia. This is Jag from Jaggy Sports.